We're very fortunate to have, and very timely, to have the Kidsight representatives from both the state as well as the district. We've got the state director of Kidsight, Lori Short, and we've got Ralph Bennie, who is our district Kidsight coordinator. And so that's a big deal for us, and we're very happy to welcome you here today, both of you. So thank you, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, John. I have a hard time standing at a podium. I'm a walker. I usually go out, so I'm going to try to restrain myself. And Ralph's going to join us at the end here. When John asked me to come, he had a very specific message. He said, Lori, we always hear about, raising funds and doing this, but what are we helping? Who are we serving? We're supposed to be serving. And if you'll remember, I'm a Lion, by the way, have been for 20 years. I was the charter president of the North Liberty Lions Club for 4 years. Now I'm the forever secretary.
Jane can relate to that.
Yeah, you never get away, do you? But you might remember that Helen Keller called upon us to be Knights for the Blind. And that's exactly what you have been doing in the DeWitt Lions Club through the Iowa Kidsight program. You are Knights for the Blind. You save sight for kids. The mission of what we do is this. We are a joint project of the Lions Clubs of Iowa and the University of Iowa Department of Ophthalmology. That's where I work, in the Department of Ophthalmology. I've worked at the University Hospital for 32 years. Last month, the first 13 I spent in peds neonatology with the little premature babies, and then I've been directing your Iowa Kidsight program for the last 20 years now. But what we are trying to do is to find vision problems in young children and get those treated and enhanced before they ever lose sight. Our target population is kids 6 months of age through kindergarten. Under 6 months of age, you can't get their pupils to dilate naturally in a dimly lit room. And after kindergarten age, there are better screening tools for kids that can communicate with you. The charts are still the gold standard in screening for older kids. And this is exactly what we are trying to prevent. Amblyopia. A lot of you know it as lazy eye. And it is just that. It's an eye that becomes lazy because it doesn't work. It doesn't do the job. It's a healthy eye. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all about the signals that it's sending to the brain, because that's actually, how we're seeing. So it is a normal, healthy eye that doesn't get the right signals. Can you do it one more time, John? Basically, you use that vision or you lose it. If you lose it, it becomes amblyopic. And that happens because, next slide, please. Images that are coming in the eye are blurred, obscured, or suppressed. You've heard about all of these things. Myopia, nearsightedness. Hyperopia is farsightedness. And isometropia is a difference in the refractive error in the eye. So a kid may be 20/40 in one eye, 20/60 in another. That's the most amblyogenic factor. If they have that, 99% of the time, they're going to shut that weaker eye off and use the eye that works. And that becomes lazy because they're not using it. And it's easier for the kid. It's really a keen ability we have when we're young to notice that dominance and use it. And it's often a lot of times our parents, when they find out that their kids aren't seeing, they had no idea their kids weren't seeing that well. So,
Sorry, too soon?
Too soon. Astigmatism is when the front part of your eye is shaped more like a football rather than a basketball, and the light rays just bend and enter the eye differently. So if you have any of those things, you put glasses on the eye to make the right signal go to the brain, and then they're using both of those eyes. Little kids can even have cataracts. I'm actually the parent of a kid with a cataract. We screened her when she was 2 and she was a pass. We screened her when she was 3 and she was a pass. And at 4, she had developed a cataract. She's now 22 and just graduated from mechanical engineering from Iowa State University. And we just keep an eye on that cataract. It didn't grow and she didn't have to have anything done. Strabismus is the other one I have noted here. And strabismus is a muscle imbalance in the eye. So a lot of times you will see kids treated with strabismus where they will patch the good eye to make that weak eye work harder. It's also a treatment for amblyopia too. If a child has gone to the point of having amblyopia, they'll use a patch. And that again is another aha moment for mom or dad. When the optometrist or ophthalmologist patches the good eye, then they realize that the child can't see out of that other eye. So that's what causes it. And the Lions of Iowa decided, we can do something about this. And you really can do something about this. So we adopted it as a service project 21 years ago now. Next one, John. These are the people that we need to make it happen. So who in this club, Dwayne, has served as a club contact? And that is the person who calls the daycares, gets it set up, and arranges it. Who here has served as a club contact? Have you been the sole club contact?
No, I'm trying to think of my predecessor.
Gotcha. So
John.
you've had a predecessor.
Yeah, yeah. John did it for quite a few years, didn't he?
Last name Mum? Somebody
Mum,
with the
yes.
last name Mum?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's been a photographer? Who's held the camera? Nancy, have you held the camera? Yeah?
John has,
Wonderful.
Sue has.
And how about helpers? Who's gone along to help? Who gave me my sticker today? You've been a helper. By handing out stickers, that's what helpers do. But we need extra hands. So if you haven't been involved before, I hope that you'll go home tonight and think about those positions. Get a hold of Dwayne and say, can I go be your sticker hander outer? You need no training for that. If you decide you want training, we'll show you how that happens here in a minute. Next one. You get trained, you arrange the screenings, you conduct the screenings, and the dirty word in our program is retake. That means we didn't get a good picture the first time. And as they referenced earlier, you are dealing with toddlers. Sometimes it is hard to get the 2-year-old to sit still to get a good picture. So that's what the Lions do. Can I get the next one, John?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid future fines here on my phone, so.
And then, remember, it's a joint project, so what we're doing in the Department of Ophthalmology, we're interpreting the results that you send in, we record them in a database, we report the results back to the Lions Club, back to the parents, back to the daycare. We are also uploading them into the IRIS system now through the Department of Public Health. The immunization registry now has a place for the vision screen, so we too in the office are uploading those into the child's immunization registry. We conduct the follow-up. Oh no, we gotta go back because we gotta talk about follow-up for a little bit, John. The Lions of Iowa are having USA-Canada Forum next week in Des Moines. And there's going to be lots of questions about Iowa because I think we have the best screening program in the world. And it's because we conduct follow-up. You can go out and identify vision problems, but if those kids never get to the eye doctor, you've done absolutely nothing. So you need to make sure they get to the eye doctor. So if any of you are going to the forum next week, that's the first question you need to ask if anybody asks about your follow-up or about your screening program. Oh, how many of the kids actually get to the eye doctor? I'm going to show you how many of our kids actually get to the eye doctor, because most programs can't show you that. We have a follow-up program. There's 2 of us that work full-time. We lost 3 people during COVID, 3 of our part-timers. Pat Mason, who you'll remember, directing the eye bank, decided it was time to retire officially. Sherry Panther, we lost her, and we also lost one of our nurses who's been in ophthalmology for a long time. They were part-time, we had to cut budgets, that's where it went. So we did lose 3 people. So there's 2.5 of us working in the office right now. So be patient with us if we don't answer within 24 hours. I might be in DeWitt talking to the Lions Club. Can you give me the next one, John? Vision problems in kids they don't always know. They don't know how to tell you. I knew how to tell you because I was 42 when I could no longer see anymore. My arm it wasn't long enough for me to see anymore. So I knew the difference. But kids don't often know the difference because this is how the world looked from the beginning. So they put up with what they have, and they oftentimes have dominant eyes, but they oftentimes don't know how to tell you, man, things look really blurry. They don't know how to tell you that. So what you're doing by capturing the vision screen is giving them a vehicle, a tool to express that. Told you you'd get trained. You can do that after you've gone out and handed out stickers and learned, oh, this is going to be kind of fun. You can sit in your jammies and go online. You can also find this from the Kidsight website, iowakidsight.org. The training's available on there too. Otherwise, it's iowakidsight.teachable.com. We used to go around, Ralph and I, for about 3 hours and put on a comprehensive training that was just a lot of information. So we've tried to condense it. We've put it online. You don't have to do it all in one setting. You can do it in 2 or 3 or 4. You can cheat. You can use things for reference. You can Google things. And it can also be used as a refresher. John indicated when we walked in that he used it as a refresher before you guys went out the other day, Dwayne. So if you haven't done it in a while and you're like, oh gosh, I have to make sure these pictures are good, you can go on and do it.
I do it every year before we go
Oh,
out.
do you really?
Every year, yeah.
And the beauty of it is, Ralph and I used to have to come out with you, and we'd have to go to the screenings until you had everything down. But now that you've done the online, if you have an established team like your club does, then you guys can teach people how to use the device once they've done it online. And this is what we teach you online. The whole thing is we have to get a good picture, which is sometimes the most impossible part in the 2-year-old. And then we have to make sure that we have a good photograph. So we're asking 4 questions about it. Do we have 4 eyes? Is the fixation good? Is it 4 millimeters or greater? And or is it in focus? And we teach you how to determine that through the training. Next one, John. We used to use these things called the MTI photo screeners. And I wanted to bring this up today because this too is a question that we're going to be asked at the USA Canada Forum. We have the ugliest vision screening device. It's the ugliest one, but it does the best job, and I want to tell you why. So when Polaroid film became obsolete, we started trialing digital ones. Can I have the next one, John? These are all the pretty ones. They have really nice wrist straps, and they just have some cool features about them. We tried them all. We didn't pick any of them. Next one. We picked the eye screen device, the thing that Dwayne has sitting up here in front of him. It's a little top heavy. It looks like an old toy computer. But when we compared that to what we were finding on examination, it did the best job. And that's what we want. We don't want to refer a child and say, oh, you need to take your child to the eye doctor. You take off work. Gee, I don't have insurance. I'm going to have to pay for this out of my pocket. I go to the eye doctor and my kid's fine. You don't want to be on the end of the follow-up phone for too many of those phone calls when mom had to do all that. And it's not a good day in the Kidsight office. So we want to make sure that when we refer, we're referring for the right thing. We want the doctor to find the same thing that we find on the screen. So that's what we found through our trial. It is also the only device that uses a human being. Wanda Pfeiffer has read every single photograph for the Iowa Lions Kidsight program and for many other Lions Kidsight programs around the nation through the years. Every single picture. She's read every single one. You can program a computer, all those other devices, to know when to refer a child, but what if there are some subtleties? What if that child has a little bitty 1/4 of a millimeter cataract that's throwing something off in the picture? I want a human to look at that and be able to make those determinations. I'm losing my sticker today. While I'm on that subject, we go to the Iowa State Fair every year and screen kids, and we have some leftover rubber bracelets that I get through a grant that we take to the state fair. So if you only need like 100 or so goodie bag things, let me know, I'll send you some.
I think that would be more than
That reminded me of that sticker. And they're kid size too. They're kid size rubber bracelets and they say Iowa Kidsight. So just let me know, give me your address, I'll send it to you. It's also, this device also produces a picture of the eyes on a piece of paper. And when we're doing follow-up, we can explain to the parents, look what what a normal vision screening looks like, and look what's going on in your child's eyes. We can actually use that as a tool to help us with follow-up. So that's why we picked the ugliest device. You'll be able to now explain that if anybody from the Texas Kidsight program says, well, hey, we use this pretty slick device here that's got this slick hand strap on it. The first thing you say, how's your follow-up? Are your kids going to the eye doctor? That's the reason we use it. Next one, please. I hope they put me right next to those vendors at the...
If I could interrupt you for just a second, that follow-up is so critical. And this is that creative learning, I think it was last year or year before, I had one of the ladies that brought a child in, and we were doing the test and that, and she said, oh yeah, my kid failed that test 3 years in a row. I said, well, did you get him to the eye doctor? Well, no, I didn't pay any attention to it. It just floored me. Here she is,
3 years in a row?
3 years in a row, he had failed it, and she had never taken him in to get checked.
We have a whole log of her at our
Then he had all
office.
kinds of problems.
And if that child would have gone in 3 years sooner,
Yeah.
the vision might have corrected better.
Yeah.
2020 is what we're trying to get. And each year that it goes, you can lose that. You can maybe never get that back.
Lady at Creative Learning bringing the kids into me, to be tested.
Well, Dwayne, we do everything but go and knock on the door and say, John, we're going to the doctor today.
Yeah.
We do. We text, we email, we call them, we send letters, and we do it repeatedly. So if you're ever in my office, we'll look them up and look at what their log said to see how many times we call them to get them there. State of Iowa, we are all around the state of Iowa now with screening. It's just great. Like I said, I was the third coordinator in a year and a half of the program. And there were like 6 or 7 dots around that. So I just love looking back at our old ones and seeing how the growth has been through the years. Next one, John. Screening statistics. Lions of Iowa have been out 39,000 times around the state of Iowa. They have screened 630,000 kids, over 630,000 kids. And the number that have been referred is 36,922. What a difference you've made. Where is all that effort going toward helping kids? The prevalence isn't big. If you look at the number, only 5% of kids, and that's true for anywhere around the world where kids live, about 5% of kids have vision problems. So the prevalence isn't big, but if you don't get those 5% in the glasses or correction they need, they can lose sight forever. And it's up to you a lot of time to find it, or for us to drag them to the eye doctor to be able to see. Go slow here. One click. The DeWitt Noon Lions have gone out 112 times. I've got a list, Dwayne, of your 112 times that you've gone out, the dates, where you went, who the club contact was, who the photographer was, how many children you screened, how many kids have been referred. One more, John, tell me how many have been screened? 1,330. That's awesome. Keep up the good work. And Mr. Bennie's going to tell you the last little statistic of this slide.
You know, we could say a number of kids that were referred to from your screening here in DeWitt. How long are you going to remember that number? We're going to do it this way here. Right now, I'd like everybody put 2 hands up. Okay? How many do we have here then? Let's just say about 32. Okay, hands down. Everybody put 1 hand up. That's another 16. Okay? Now, that table, and that table, put your hand up. That makes 58 kids that your club has found and sent to their eye care provider. Let's give everybody a hand for that.
John, you serve. That's what you've done through the years. Another one? Couple just little housekeeping things I want you to know. There was a law passed in Iowa that every child upon entry to kindergarten and 3rd grade has to have a vision screening. That happened in 2015, 2016 in the state of Iowa. Iowa Kidsight is actually named in the law as a way that you can satisfy that as a kindergarten child. So when you're out and they get their results mailed back to them or back to the daycare, they can take that piece of paper to their school. And as I also mentioned, we're uploading those into Iris, so the school nurses have it now at the beginning of the school year. 3rd graders is a different ballgame. Different tests need to be used. We just don't do the tests that they need to be used. So it's a completely different ballgame. The 3rd graders, we usually refer back to a local optometrist to see if they can help satisfy the 3rd grade requirement. We are part of Lions Kidsight USA. We were part of Lions Kidsight when it first started, and that was 22 years ago. We learned how to run a successful program. I have a binder in my office to give you a visual, and the binder has several different sections in it. One of them said you need to partner with a medical institution, you need to have follow-up as one of your components, and there are several other factors that qualifies as a gold standard quality vision screening program. We also have the Iowa Lions Foundation. They've been stable in allowing us to be able to operate the funds that are generated through them. A lot of the other states didn't have that. So about 10 years ago, Lions International said, oh, some of these states can't afford to do follow-up and can't afford to do these or have paid employees was another one. So they took a couple tabs out of that binder and said, well, you don't have to do those things, you just do the rest of those things and you'll be okay. And Lions Kidsight USA was created. So I understand the restraints, but the Lions of Iowa said, we want all the sections in our binder and we want to do everything for a quality screening program. So they treat us a bit like a stepchildren because we don't use those other machines they use. And it's because they get money from those companies to sponsor things with Lions International. But we have follow-up, and you have somebody that gets up every day and thinks about this, and you are affiliated with a medical institute. So I don't think the Lions of Iowa want to change what we're doing and the quality of our program. So we are part of Lions Kidsight USA. So anytime you get a chance to play with them while in the sandbox, do. And anytime that they have questions about our program, I hope that you can answer them and show them the differences, because it is important to do follow-up. And it is important to be affiliated with a medical institute. Next one. This is a slide I never like to talk about, so we're gonna do this fast. Next slide, or next one. A lot of people are curious about what our budgets are for Kidsight. So we operate the entire program on about $384,000 a year. Next one. If you divide that by the number of children, I'm doing this because this was pre-COVID. When you throw COVID in there, it just gets all, it doesn't make sense, but this is about what it is. If you divide that by 51,000 children that are screened, it costs us about $7.49 to screen a child. Next. The Iowa Lions Foundation, huge, 51% of our budget comes from the Iowa Lions Foundation. So we absolutely need that support. And again, that's one of the things that kept us from folding when film was getting so expensive as this program was growing. Next one. The Iowa Department of Public Health, we get a grant through them. In this budget year, it was $95,575. And in March, the year runs from July to June. In March, April, May, June, I learned they weren't gonna give us all the money that year. And that happens. It's happened several years through the program that the state cuts us mid-year. So when you hear about that on the news, it really does affect people. Oh, across the board cuts for the Department of Public Health. That would be us. I mean, that happens. Next one. The Iowa Optometric Association, the optometrists give us $12,000 a year, which is really awesome. And then it's my responsibility to raise the rest. That's about $82,000. So we do line item grants and gifts and fundraisers and however we can get it in. Next one. Oh yeah, I had to add in the department shortfall, so it wasn't an $82,000, it was an $84,000 shortfall. Okay, next. But we're working toward endowment. About 7 years ago, our medical director at the University of Iowa said, we really need to, we're growing and growing and growing, and the Lions Foundation can't keep up all these years. So we need to do something. So we started an endowment program, and an endowment through the University of Iowa Foundation, where the money sits in an endowed account. We can never touch that money that's given, but we can live off of the interest. We celebrated last spring, not the COVID year, the year before that, because COVID didn't count. So 2019, we had reached $1 million milestone. So we have right now $1,400,000 in the bank for our endowment, and we can use the money that spins off. So our goal is $5 million, so it spins off about $250 million or $250,000 a year toward our operation. So if you know anybody that are philanthropists that give at that kind of level, let me know, because they are very important to our long-term sustaining of the program. We have some Lions in the room who are members of that board of our endowment. So these are the small dollar things we sell. I wanted to mention this because she's kind of in your neck of the woods. We have a book that was dedicated to the Lions of Iowa that talks about how screenings are held. And the guy in the middle is a bear that is actually seen on every page of our book. And Isabel Bloom did that for us. Caught wind of this book project we had, and she ended up, her company made that bear for us. So if you ever see that in Isabel Bloom's stores, we get 10% of those proceeds that come in to help support us. We have just a couple left, 20 maybe. She made 250 special edition bears for us. This bear is purple and gold because those are the lion colors. But in the bear, in the book, the bear is wearing a red bow tie and gold rimmed or black rimmed glasses. So she made 250 of those special editions where she signed them and numbered them on the bottom. And we have those for sale in the Kidsight office for $50. So if you're a Isabel Bloom collector, let us know. And then one of our Lions started to make our old MTI, the old film cameras, into lamps. So if you ever need a unique lamp, there are a 3-way bulb. I love them in my office. I would never put them in my living room. But we have those as well. So we do small dollar fundraising. The next one. And I just want to leave you with a note on how you can help. There's so many ways. There's so many needs that we have in so many ways. So let's say if you, Lori, I can't be around kids. I can't do that stuff. Well, great. We have some other things for you that you can do. You can support the Iowa Lions Foundation. So when your club raises funds and donates to the foundation, you're helping Kidsight. You can support us directly, our operations or endowment, or you can educate somebody. And my daughter, every time I see somebody with glasses, a little one, she'll say, "Don't do it, Mom, don't do it." I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And I say, "How did you know your young child needed glasses?" So have conversations with people, or if you have no little ones, have they been vision screened? You don't always know it's your child. I'm a mother that didn't know her child had a cataract, and I directed a vision screening program. The picture told me that. So back to our mission of what we're doing. One more. Oh yeah, iowakidsight.org. We have updates all the time. We have screening protocols for going out during COVID. We have an honor roll of the last 20 years of clubs all around the state, how many kids they've screened. We have a video that we had a lot of the daycare providers send in last year during COVID because we had nothing to do. So we contacted them and had us, they send in little video clips to thank you for what you do. So I hope you'll visit the website sometime and check it out. Last one. This is just a thank you I wanted to share from a mom. We did not know that he was having issues, Vander, until the local Lions Club did the Kidsight screening at his preschool. After the first day of wearing his glasses, we have never needed to ask him to put them on. That has been so telling of how much they help him. He likes to wear them because of how much they help him every day. We are so thankful for the screening so that we could get him the help. Dwayne, it's because of people like you that get up and say, "I'm gonna call these daycares, we're gonna get it arranged." It's guys like you, John, who say, "We are gonna do stuff this year and we are gonna identify the service that we provide." You prevent amblyopia and you help kids see. And I hope that you'll continue to do that. I hope that you'll educate people about why you do that. And I hope you'll find a few more kids every year somewhere along the way. I want to turn it over to Ralph now. Ralph has been the trainer and coordinator since day one. He was here when the program was being born.
May 5th, 2000.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, Ralph Bennie, and I'm a proud member of the Lowmore Lions, which I also am the secretary.
Oh no, how many years?
A few. We talked about Dwayne here being our super chief on it, but Dwayne, there are other people in your club that have been trained in Kidsight. And Nancy Aiken is one. Sally Burrows is another. Richard Evers is another. Robert Hansen is another. Susan Hasselmiller is another. John itself Hurley here is another. And let's turn the page, shall we? And Betty Porth is another. And Mary Reuter is another. And Peg Fajan is another.
They've all been through the
All have been through the Kidsight training. Now, some of them have not been through the digital camera, but they're welcome to do the secretarial work and calling and things like this. So you're going to have this not here, so don't be afraid to call these people.
Yeah.
Now, he talked about what he's screened so far, and he's got quite a list of screening to do. But the state of Iowa requires a license for any daycare center to have it 6 and more. We have available from the state of Iowa with daycares that have license. And you see right there that I think there's about 176 kids that go in daycares that have license. My question is, how many more kids do you have that have less than 6 in their daycare? You don't know that. You need to ask, you need to see, because we are missing some of those kids by having no license in the state of Iowa. What about your Sunday schools? Have you tried visiting with them? there may be some kids there that have missed the screenings. It's important that we get them because like your club has 58 referred, they have their eyes to see today. If you didn't screen them, they may not be full vision persons and they can't live that way in the world that we have today. So with that, we appreciate your good work that you've done. Keep up the good work and let's screen everything. Yes?
Many years ago now, probably in the late 70s, we did a screening when I was a lioness. And we found, I don't know how many we found, but there was one for sure that we found that had a difficult problem. And she went on to get all the treatment that she needed, calls and whatever. And she died of cancer about 25 years later. But had we not found that, she'd have been blind like a lot earlier. So we're really proud that we were at least, we know of one for sure that we help enhance their life and their sight.
Yeah. So, as Dolores says, communicate about Kidsight. If you can have any fundraisers through your club sent to the Iowa Lions Foundation, that money helps Lori and support your Kidsight. And I think everybody here needs to give a hand to you people for doing it, okay? Thank you.
Oh, one other thing.
Oh, I got an important job here. A very important job.
Kind of like signing on the line.
Would Mr. Lion John Hersey stand up?
Present.
Okay. John, on behalf of the Iowa Lions Foundation, the Iowa Lions Kidsight, I'd like to present you with a certificate of completion, proudly presented to John Hersey for successful completion of the Iowa Kidsight training course. John?
Thank you very much.
Now, to go with that, we have a Iowa Kidsight pin. And if I pin it on you, we're gonna have blood, so I won't do it, okay?
Well, I don't want my wife to do it, there'll be more blood.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Good work.